I'm Dave Allvin, General, United States Air Force. I'm the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, and I'm a proud member of the class of 1986.
By direction of the President of the United States of America, General David W. Allvin is appointed as the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force effective 2 November 2023.
I'm not sure that you drive from the start with anything to prepare you for Chief of Staff of the Air Force specifically. But the thing that the Academy prepared me for was a love of what the Air Force stood for, a love of what the Air Force's place in the nation's defense was, and how I could fit into that. And so I didn't know what was coming ahead. Sometimes when you're a lieutenant, you just look at the next step. But the Academy prepared me, I think, for a diverse number of assignments and the ability to look forward and see that there are options out there and really discover how your talents and your passions fit with the options the Air Force has. The ability for me to stand there at the Air Force Academy, at the exact same place where I first raised my right hand and accepted a commission as a second lieutenant. If you want to talk about something that gives you an idea of full circle, that did it for me. And to be able to do that with, of course, one of my great friends and classmates, the superintendent, Rich Clark, there to be able to attend and be there, really made it special. And so I think that emotion was pretty overwhelming. It was quite a day. The work of being a Chief of Staff I've settled into fairly nicely, and I think largely that's because I was Vice Chief of Staff for 3 years, and so many of the same issues are still there. Sometimes I would sit in for the Chief, and so I was fairly comfortable with what the workload was going to be, but there is a difference between being the Vice Chief and being the Chief. You're humbled every day with the level of support that you have and the fact that you have an entire staff trying to make you successful as the senior and sometimes as the face of the United States Air Force. It's still very humbling every day to wake up in the Air House with all the support and finish the day knowing it was another day that I served in the same position as some of the greats of our time. I think this is a key time. I would agree that it's dangerous, it's dynamic, but it's important. And so I think some of the key challenges are the rapid pace of change, an emerging threat, potentially the likes of which we haven't seen for several decades. I think one of the challenges is bringing an enterprise along as large as the United States Air Force that is a bureaucracy at its core. And its pointy edge, the tip, it's a fighting force that can beat anybody. But at its base, it's an enterprise that needs to move. And to enable this Air Force to move appropriate to the pace of change, appropriate to the security environment, I think is one of the general challenges that I will tackle every single day while I'm the Chief of Staff. Changes are necessary because the environment has changed, because the threat has changed, because the world has changed, and our Air Force owes it to the airmen who are willing to sign up to fight and die and to the country we pledge to defend, that we will make this organization operate in a way that Americans will be proud, that we can show any adversaries that if you pick a fight, it's a wrong fight if you're picking it with us. Because we don't want to have that fight, but if we do, we're going to win it. This is not a breaking and rebuilding of our Air Force. It is a transformation. With any change, there'll be angst and there'll be some tumult here and there. I fully expect that. If not, I think then that means we're heading down the same path that we have been, which might have been optimized for the environment of the past, but not for the one that we have to prepare our Air Force and the nation for. One of the foundational pieces of air power and of being an airman is innovation is in our DNA. So we need to understand what parts of our heritage do we hold on to entirely, and what part of our heritage, which is innovation, that allows us to maintain being a member of that long blue line without being trapped by old paradigms. So what the Associated Graduates can do is to help keep themselves relevant by helping us all keep ourselves relevant and understand some things we hang on to and some things we can leap into the future and our successors will thank us for. And I think that's where the Association of Graduates can help keep us together as graduates. I am equal parts excited and anxious. I would say those are slightly different. I'm excited for the opportunities. I'm anxious because I think there are lots of things we need to do and we can't afford to wait anymore. So those sort of things, I wake up every day with that sense of urgency. And then when I see what airmen do every day, and when I look at the academy and see what our future leaders are going to do, I have very positive outlook. And I think keeping that sense of urgency, if you will, to make sure we can adapt our Air Force what it needs to be in the future, and an appreciation for the fact that we have Americans signing up to join our winning team, to be able to do the things to preserve what this nation holds dear. No better thing to do to wake up to every day. And so that's what I would like to exude to everyone that works around me and all the airmen that I'm so privileged to serve.